The auctioneer's voice sliced the humid Georgia air. Lot number 47. German Shepherd. Amelia Hayes stood at the back, not intending to bid. Her small farmhouse already housed 2 cats, Leo and Lunar, and an arthritic Labrador, Buster. The February chill cut through her thin jacket. Most locals were there for chickens or farm equipment. Starting bid, $1, the auctioneer continued. His enthusiasm diminished. Handlers dragged forward a skeletal German Shepherd. The dog's ears flattened, his eyes darted wildly. Scars crisscrossed his dull coat. He limped badly, his back right leg barely touching ground. Aggressive. Not for families. Owner surrender, the auctioneer rattled off. $1, anyone. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. The dog trembled against the handler. Might have to put this one down today if there's no interest, the auctioneer said flatly. Last call. $1. The dog's eyes met Amelia's. Not aggression, but pure terror. She'd seen that look before. Her hand went up before her brain objected. Sold, for $1 to the lady in the back. Relief filled the auctioneer's voice. Your lucky day, ma'am. Little did Amelia know, that $1 would change both their lives. Amelia Hayes, 34, was a former combat medic from the 31st Combat Support Hospital. Now, she worked as a veterinary assistant at Riverdale Animal Clinic. Predictable chaos. No one shooting at her. Her small farmhouse sat on 3 acres outside town, far enough that her 3 a.m. screams didn't bother neighbors. The military taught her to save lives, but not her own. She named him Ghost. For the first week, he was a shadow, slipping behind furniture, hiding. Shelter paperwork listed him as unknown German Shepherd mix, approx. 5-7 years old. The medical history section was blank, except for caution, fear, aggression, stamped in angry red. Ghost's body told a different story. Military precision beaten into him, then beaten out. Ribs protruded. A jagged, improperly healed scar ran down his flank. His rear leg dragged. When she tried to examine his teeth, he growled lower warning, not aggression. They had that in common. Her farm wasn't much, a weathered farmhouse, a wraparound porch, a barn converted to a garage, and a fenced acre where Buster snoozed. Leo and Luna ruled inside. None were thrilled by Ghost's arrival. Riverdale, Georgia, was small enough that everyone knew everyone's business, large enough to get lost. Amelia had chosen it precisely because nobody there knew her before Afghanistan, the medevac crash, the nightmares. She had no idea this $1 auction dog would force her to become part of the town. The drive home was a lesson in patience. Ghost refused to enter her truck, cowering. After 20 minutes of coaxing, she lifted him in. He pressed against the passenger door. Every bump made him flinch. By the time they reached her gravel driveway, her knuckles were white. Home sweet home, she murmured. Ghost's amber eyes, holding the 1,000-yard stare, flickered toward her. Getting him out was easier. He bolted once the door opened, stopping at the porch edge tense. It's okay, she called softly. No one will hurt you here. He looked unconvinced. Buster, her elderly lab, lumbered out. Ghost went rigid, a low growl building. Buster, half blind, simply sniffed in Ghost's direction and settled on his cushion. That's just Buster, Amelia explained. Harmless unless you're a biscuit. It took 3 hours to coax Ghost inside. The cats vanished. She set up a dog bed, food and water, then gave him space. He didn't eat or use the bed, just stood in the corner, watching with haunted eyes. Midnight brought a thunderstorm. The first boom had Amelia upright, heart racing, too similar to artillery. The second boom was accompanied by a crash downstairs, then frantic scratching. Ghost was trying to dig through her living room floor, nails bloody, body trembling. He bared his teeth when she approached. Hey, she said, voice even despite her own racing pulse. You're safe. Riverdale, Georgia. It's just thunder. She repeated it like a mantra, settling on the floor nearby. As the storm raged, she talked about nothing and everything. Gradually, his panting slowed. By dawn, he'd collapsed from exhaustion, close enough for her to feel his warmth. She realized this dog hadn't just been abused. He'd been to war. Days established a tentative routine. Ghost refused to eat if watched. He flinched at sudden movements. The first time she reached out to touch him, he snapped, then immediately cowered. Doctor Sam Carter, her veterinarian boss and friend, made a house call. It took Sam 15 minutes to approach close enough for a cursory examination. There's a tattoo inside his ear, Sam frowned. Military style. This wasn't just some pet, Amelia. Sam barely managed to draw blood before Ghost's tolerance ran out. Malnourished, probably has parasites. That leg was badly broken, healed wrong, Sam concluded. But those aren't his biggest problems. PTSD, Amelia said quietly. Sam nodded, just like his new mom. Before Sam's truck disappeared, a police cruiser pulled in. Sheriff Brody Evans stepped out. Sommer, got a complaint about a dangerous dog, Amelia. From Sealer's Blackwood next door. Says you brought home a military attack dog. Amelia tried for a casual expression. He's a German Shepherd from the county auction. Half-starved and scared of his own shadow. Evans, Riverdale's sheriff for 2 decades, was fair. Mind if I take a look? She led him to where Ghost had retreated. The dog vibrated with tension. Easy now, Evans murmured. He crouched. Blackwood claims this dog lunged at his granddaughter when she was riding her bike past your property. Impossible, Amelia said firmly. Ghost hasn't left the fenced yard. He's terrified of strangers. He runs away, not toward them. Evans studied Ghost. Military dog, isn't he? My brother-in-law trained canines at Fort Stewart. Recognized the stance. This dog's seen action. Evans wasn't just here on Blackwood's say-so. So, are you going to make me get rid of him? Not today. But this town has rules about dangerous animals. You've got 2 weeks to demonstrate he's not a threat, or I'll have to enforce the ordinance. He handed her a paper. Town council's next Thursday. Blackwood's pushing for a vote on banning military dogs within city limits. Amelia started specialized training. Principles she knew from PTSD work: establish safety, build trust, create predictability. She began with food, sitting on the floor near his bowl, kibble in her palm. You eat when you're ready. It took 45 minutes, but hunger overcame fear. They repeated this for hours until he ate from her outstretched hand. The breakthrough came 3 days later. On the porch swing, reviewing Ghost's blood work, she mindlessly murmured, "Sits an old German command." Ghost's posture straightened. He sat, eyes forward. "You understand German commands," she whispered, astonished. She tried another. Platz. Ghost dropped. Plabe. He stayed. Fuss. He moved to heel. Each command triggered an automatic response, muscle memory transcending trauma. She glimpsed the dog he had been. That evening, brushing his coat, her fingers found a small, concealed metal tag. Engravings partly worn, Spectre 5, and the military unit number. The discovery emboldened her. The next day, she called Fort Stewart's public affairs. "I'm inquiring about a military working dog. Designation possibly Spectre 5. Ma'am, I can't release MWD information without proper authorization," came the practiced response. This dog was found abandoned at a county shelter. "If he's military property, don't you want him back?" After several transfers, she reached Major Davies, whose clipped tone conveyed annoyance. "To Mess Hayes, if you found government property, you're required to return it immediately." "He's not in it," Amelia snapped. "He's a dog who's been neglected and abandoned after serving his country. I'll send someone to collect the animal tomorrow, without confirmation of his identity or service record, or how he ended up at auction." "I don't think so, Major." Her heart pounded. "I'm a veteran too. I know my rights, and his under the 2016 Military Working Dog Retirement Act." The act caused a subtle shift. "What exactly are you looking for, Ms. Hayes?" "His service record, medical history, the name of his handler, and an explanation for why a trained military dog ended up abandoned. That's classified information." "Then I guess I'll have to ask my congressman why taxpayer dollars are being used to train dogs that end up discarded." Ghost's presence gave her courage. Major Davies sighed. "I'll look into it. Don't expect much." Thursday's town council meeting arrived. No word from Fort Stewart. Amelia left Ghost home and walked into the surprisingly full Riverdale Municipal Building. Sealer's Blackwood sat in the front row. When her name was called, she approached the podium. "Ms. Hayes," Councilwoman Alina Vance began. "You're here to contest Mr. Blackwood's petition regarding the German Shepherd. Please state your case." Amelia took a deep breath. "His name is Ghost. And before you vote, you should know what he did for our country. Ghost came to me severely malnourished, injured, and traumatized. The shelter listed him as aggressive, but that's not accurate. What Ghost is suffering from is PTSD. the same condition affecting many veterans. She held up the tag. This identifies him as Spectre 5, a military working dog. His training is evident. Ghost isn't dangerous. He's a veteran who's been discarded. Councilman Peterson leaned forward. Miss Hayes, a dog with military training is inherently dangerous. They're also taught discipline and control, Amelia countered. Ghost responds to commands. He hasn't displayed aggression, but hypervigilance and fear, classic PTSD symptoms. Blackwood stood. My granddaughter was nearly attacked by this dog, Mr. Blackwood. Amelia faced him. Ghost has not left my fenced property. There's been a misunderstanding. I'd like the chance to work with him. Councilwoman Vance asked, do you have professional qualifications in handling traumatized animals? I was a combat medic. I treated soldiers with PTSD. I'm working with Dr. Sam Carter, who's overseeing Ghost's physical recovery. From the back, Sam Carter spoke up. I have examined this dog twice. He shows past trauma but no unprovoked aggression. He needs rehabilitation, not euthanasia. MS. Hayes is uniquely qualified. He presented a folder with medical literature and a safety plan. After deliberation, the council compromised 30 days for Amelia to work with Ghost under Sam's supervision, followed by an independent evaluation. Blackwood muttered, this isn't over. The following weeks were a carefully orchestrated routine. Ghost's physical condition improved steadily. The haunted look in his eyes began to fade. The first major contact breakthrough came on a rainy Tuesday. A car backfiring sent Ghost scrambling under the porch swing. Amelia pretended not to notice. Minutes later, a tentative touch on her ankle, Ghost's muzzle. He stayed connected. That night, she emailed military contacts. 3 days later, Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, whom Amelia had treated in 2018, replied, your dog's tag format matches specialized units deployed to Afghanistan, 2016-2020. Forwarded your info. The next day, Captain Mark Olson called. Spectre 5 was part of a specialized detection unit in Kandahar. Handler Staff Sergeant David Reese separated after an incident, late 2020. Reese was medically discharged. The dog. Budget cuts. Some MWD reclassified as equipment surplus. Reese went off-grid. But Kyle Roberts runs a rehab program south of Riverdale. He might help. Kyle Roberts' Second Chance Canine was a sprawling property. So you've got Spectre 5, Kyle said. Impressive detection record IED primarily. He's looking better than I expected. How does a highly trained dog end up abandoned? Amelia asked. Budget cuts are the official answer. Kyle's expression darkened. Unofficial is messier. Sometimes dogs develop issues, PTSD, physical limitations. They fall through the cracks. Amelia and Ghost became regular visitors. Kyle taught techniques for military dogs. At home, Ghost brought Amelia his leash, a normal dog behavior. Her search for David Reese continued. She created a Facebook page, Finding Ghost's Handler. 3 weeks later, a message from Sarah Reese. I think your dog served with my brother's unit. David lost his dog during his last deployment. Hasn't been the same. Sarah couldn't provide direct contact but promised to mention Ghost. The weekend before Ghost's evaluation, Amelia was gardening. 2 girls on bicycles pedaled past, one Sealer's Blackwood's granddaughter, Lily. To Amelia's horror, Lily's friend threw a rock, striking Ghost. He yelped, startled. More rocks followed, the girls laughing as Ghost hid. Hey, stop that, Amelia shouted. The girls sped away. That evening, Amelia confronted Sealer's Blackwood. Your granddaughter was throwing rocks at Ghost. Blackwood hardened. My granddaughter wouldn't. If she did, maybe protecting herself from that dangerous animal. He was behind a 6-foot fence. Amelia's temper rose. He's a veteran who served his country. He deserves respect. You're equating a dog to our servicemen. Blackwood's face reddened. That dog saved more American lives than you can count, Mr. Blackwood. Amelia snapped. He came home broken because of what he gave. You're teaching children to torment him. Who's really dangerous? Back home, Ghost settled beside her, placing his head in her lap, a gesture of trust. The day before Ghost's evaluation, rain hammered down. A flash flood warning pinged. The creek bordering her property became a torrent. Sheriff Evans called. Trouble on Russell Road. Evacuating. County shelters full. Emergency center at the high school gym. Could use your medical training. I'll be there, but I need to bring Ghost. Might complicate things. Blackwood's involved. Ghost will be muzzled and leashed. He might be useful at Riverdale High. The gym was chaotic. Amelia offered assistance at the medical station. Ghost stayed by her side, surprisingly calm. Sealers Blackwood entered, saw Ghost, and marched to Sheriff Evans. Evans approached Amelia. Blackwood's demanding the dog be removed. Before Amelia could respond, a woman burst in frantic. "My daughter, I can't find Lily." She ran toward the woods. Lily Blackwood. Evans organized search teams. Amelia offered Ghost's detection skills. Sealers whirled. "Keep that dog away from my granddaughter," Evans intervened. "Sealers, time is critical." To Amelia, "Need her scent." Lily's mother produced a backpack with a sweater. Amelia held it to Ghost's nose. Ghost such. Find. Ghost transformed the military working dog. Focused, ready. He needs to be off leash, Amelia told Evans. They took the Easton Creek, for example. The path was a nightmare of mud and debris. 20 minutes in, Ghost froze, then changed direction, deeper into the forest. Amelia followed. Then a faint cry, "Help, somebody," a man's voice. Ghost ran. They found Daniel Blackwood pinned beneath a fallen tree, Lily beside him, on a narrow, eroding ledge above the churning creek. "The killer dog," Lily screamed. "Lily, he's here to help," Amelia called. Daniel was trapped, losing blood. Amelia radioed for help. "Either 15 minutes too long." "Lily, come to me." The girl refused. Ghost plats. Down. Ghost dropped. Non-threatening. "He's a hero dog." "Lily." Slowly. Lily edged toward Amelia. Amelia pulled her to safety. Then, with Ghost gripping one end of the tree and Amelia the other, they strained. The tree shifted. Daniel dragged himself free just as the ledge began to collapse. Ghost, Voraus, forward. Ghost led them to solid ground as the ledge crashed into the creek. While waiting for rescue, Lily cautiously approached Ghost. "I'm sorry I threw rocks at him," she whispered. "You're a hero dog." Ghost gently licked her hand. When Sealers Blackwood arrived, he saw his granddaughter curled asleep next to the dog he'd tried to banish. He extended his hand to Amelia. "Thank you, both of you." Ghost's evaluation was an anticlimax. News of the rescue had spread. The assessor declared him well-adjusted. The town council voted unanimously to let Ghost stay. Peace was short-lived. 3 weeks later, Major Evelyn Reed from Fort Stewart's JAG office called Amelia at the clinic. MWD Spectre 5 was scheduled for reassignment, not retirement. The DUD requests his immediate return. He was sold at auction for $1, traumatized. Now you want him back. Amelia was incredulous. This isn't a request. A team will retrieve him tomorrow. Sam Carter, her boss, was outraged. Timing is interesting. Ghost makes headlines. Suddenly the military remembers him. It's damage control. Amelia called Kyle Roberts from Second Chance Canine. They can't legally take him under the MWD Retirement Act, but you need to prove official retirement, Kyle said. Groomer is a private military contractor. Cerberus Security Solutions took over parts of canine training. If Ghost was transferred to them, I need to find David Reese. Amelia realized. That night, her barn was deliberately set on fire. The next day, Sarah Reese texted, "David saw the news. Ready to talk. Come to Blue Ridge tomorrow. Just you and the dog." The journey to the North Carolina mountains led to a remote cabin. Sarah Reese met them. Then, a man appeared. David Reese. Ghost bounded toward him with a high-pitched whine. "Delter." David choked, burying his face in Ghost's fur. "I thought you were dead." Inside, David explained. "They told me he was KIA after our last ambush in Kandahar. We walked into a setup. Delter alerted us to a flanking maneuver, saved us. We were both hit. They separated us at Medevac." "Why lie?" Amelia asked. "After 5 deployments, Delter and I were inconvenient. We'd called off 3 drone strikes on misidentified civilian compounds. Our commander was furious. David produced a flash drive. A buddy sent this. Transfer orders for 5 MWD, including Delter, to Cerberus Security Solutions. They are likely using dogs for operations outside standard rules. They want Ghost back because he's evidence. A witness to that ambush," Sarah added. "We were afraid to contact you." "If they torched your barn, what do we do?" Amelia asked. David had copies of Delter's service record and retirement papers he'd filed, which had mysteriously disappeared. Sarah was coordinating with Watchdog, an MWD advocacy group. The next morning, Amelia prepared to leave. David pressed his handler tag into her hand. "Take care of him. You saved him when I couldn't." Back in Riverdale, Sheriff Evans was waiting. "They're back, Amelia, with paperwork, court order, coming tomorrow at noon." On her kitchen table, a note, "Stop digging or you're next." Evans posted a deputy outside. Sam and Kyle arrived. Sam had Ghost's medical records, undeniable evidence of neglect. Kyle confirmed other handlers knew David filed retirement papers for Ghost. Delta Sealers Blackwood visited. A feller named Victor Sterling, driving a black SUV with Virginia plates, came by after the flood, asking about you and the dog. Said he was from American Veterans Alliance. The quick search revealed a new, bare-bones website. Kyle traced the plates, Cerberus Security Solutions. That night, Sarah Reese called, frantic. "David's gone." Cabin searched, his laptop and phone taken. His evidence stash is safe. Amelia told her to send it via FedEx to Sam's clinic and disappear. At 3 a.m., Kyle confirmed the SUV belonged to Cerberus. Dawn brought Dr. Hansen, the MWD expert. She examined Ghost. Elite military training. Injuries consistent with combat and subsequent inadequate care. At 11 a.m., the FedEx package arrived. Ghost's original service record, David's mission logs, and crucially, Ghost's retirement papers signed and dated. At noon, 3 vehicles arrived. Military police, an army transport, and the black SUV. Lieutenant Miller and Victor Sterling from Cerberus stepped out. "Lieutenant," Amelia interrupted their approach. "I have documentation proving MWD Spectre 5 was officially retired." She held up David's papers. "They not," came a voice. Sheriff Evans walked up the driveway. Beside him, thin but alive, David Reese. Ghost bounded to David. "Staff Sergeant Reese," Miller said stiffly. "Just like you were informed Delta was KIA," David replied. "I filed retirement paperwork. Someone altered records, transferred him to Cerberus. You abandoned him when he wouldn't comply with your methods." "Lieutenant," Amelia said, "this can become a public scandal, or you can acknowledge a mistake." Evans added, "The news outlets are at the end of my driveway." Sterling, assessing, told Miller, "Perhaps we should postpone this retrieval pending further review." As they retreated, David knelt by Ghost. "Thank you," he whispered to Amelia, "for saving him, for saving us both. The war wasn't over, but today, they had won." Just as Amelia believed was possible, this loyal German shepherd, who risked everything, was cast aside for $1. His story reflects our fears of being forgotten, but also reminds us of loyalty and love. When Amelia Hayes saved Ghost, she affirmed every life holds value. Redemption is possible. Scars tell stories. Family is who fights for you. Ghost's story asks, who are the forgotten heroes in our communities? And what will we do about it?